Alright, what's up guys? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today we have a very busy day. And by day, I mean busy video, because this is going to be over a multitude of days because I'm still waiting for stuff to come in. Fortunately, that's the way she goes, but I have a lot of stuff already. I'm going to go ahead and start installing everything. This is more of an electrical upgrade. I know you guys, if you own a WJ, you know the big 7 upgrade. I'm going to be doing that. I haven't gotten the battery because this paycheck goes to rent, and rent in California isn't exactly the cheapest. I will have to wait to get a new battery. This battery is fine. There's nothing wrong with it at all, so I'll probably just keep it as a spare. But some other stuff I can get done. I can install the battery cables. I did pick up an alternator. Oh man, definitely got to shave for work. I also have to wait on a couple pieces. I'll show you guys exactly where I'm going to be running all my switches. Well, not switches, but my relays, and running all my wire, my fuse block and everything like that. It's not the most ideal spot, and I know a lot of people do differently. So I got the big 7 kit from K Suspension. Very nice kit. One of the things I do differently is not have a card to tell you where everything goes with these little yellow dots and green dots and all these little dots. The gcables.com one actually has labels, battery, fuse block, stuff like that. So I think K Suspension can do a little bit better with just the labeling, even though, I mean, this does make it easy. You just follow dot according to this. Next up is a new used alternator. I got some pod lights over here as well. These are just some cheap little Amazon ones. I have all my switches here for the light bar. I'm going to be tapping into the winch solenoid so I can do up and down from inside the cab, compressor, spotlights, and then a winch power. So we're gonna let the Jeep cool down for a little bit. I was just driving it and it is pretty warm out, so I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit. I'm gonna pull the battery out completely and then we'll go from there. Okay, so while the Jeep is cooling off, I went ahead and I started mocking everything up for my CB radio. I don't know how people did it. They put a plate through the rear tail light and then they put their cable and everything. I don't know how theirs worked. Mine wasn't working, so I had to modify the tail light just a little bit. Let me show you guys where I kind of stand right now. Okay, so mind you, the plate isn't gonna look like this. I'm gonna be cutting it down here, and then it's gonna come out, and it's gonna curve around, and then back down, straight down. I trimmed the tail light. Let me see if I can get you an angle. Yep, right there. So I trimmed the tail light, just shaved it down a little bit, just so I can get this cable kind of moving around, and it allows this kind of just sit flush in there still, because it's still a bigger lip right here. So I don't know if I'm going to cut the piece of metal tonight. I may wait until I get to work tomorrow. I don't have a vise. Well, I have a vise, but I have no way of securing the vise, so pretty much I'm just like holding it while I'm trying to cut. I don't like doing that, but for now we can probably jump into the inside and pull the bottom of the dashboard apart and then reach my hand up. I had to pull the radio back out. It's not fun because I want to screw in top to the top of the dashboard there, and that's where my CB radio is going to mount, and I'll put a nut and bolt through it. It should hold it. It's not really going to be moving around much. I'm going to turn it on, probably change squelch and everything else to fine tune it, and it shouldn't be moving that much. Okay, another quick update. Sorry about it being so bright. I think we're good. I think we're good. This is going to go in just a little bit slightly, about right there. I might just shave down a little bit more. Came out pretty good. Okay, so I don't exactly know where I left off. It's actually a few days later. It's probably about 6 or 7 days later. I was waiting to find some stuff for the cable, some plastic shielding to cover the cable, because you really don't want to run that big of a cable exposed, because insulation will break down. It could start moving and a host of other things where it could cause fires. So I was waiting on this stuff. Nobody had it in stock. I had to order it, and it took a while. Stump bike is back together, sort of. Catches some sun for now. Let's get started on this. I'm gonna pull the battery out first, and then I'll do the wiring. Okay, now that we got the battery tray out, we go ahead and start pulling this ground off. Don't think we pulled these off, but pull this ground off. There's a ground on the block right down there. Alternator plug, just pull everything off, get rid of it all garbage. You'll have to unplug, there's a little plug right here. You'll have to unplug that as well. That's all unplugged. This shit should all just kind of come out, to be honest with you. Okay, now that we got this mess kind of out, the things that you will need to take this off. You need to open it up and take this plug out, as well as this green wire and this plug. So you do have to open up this entire harness. It's not that difficult. You can kind of just cut this tape away and this thing should just open right up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick, and then I'm going to grab my new shielding and shield it as best as I possibly can. I think I have electrical tape here. I do have some felt tape that I'm going to be using as well. So yeah, let's get it going. Okay, before I start looming all of that into each other, I want to swap out the alternator while everything is still out and there's no cables in the way and whatnot. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. Should be I think they're 15 mils. There's a long bolt down there. Should have one up top. Remember to take the belt off. I think just a 1/2-inch drive. Just pull the belt off of this pulley, unbolt that shit. It comes right out, and that's pretty much all is to it. Some editing magic. Let's go ahead and swap this out. Probably wondering, wait, the alternator never changed. It's because this one doesn't work. So I gotta go back and I have to ask questions. I always do. For now, we can still do the battery cables. Well, we're gonna have to because I tore everything apart. And then I'll research the alternator, and worst comes to worst, I'll just order a new one. Oh my God, I'm trying to go through this kit of the battery cables. This is the K suspension one. Honestly, I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. There's a lot more negatives than positive. I got two 200 amp fuses. You're supposed to get a 150 and a 200. I got two 200s. The problem is once you put the shielding on, you don't see the dot anymore. So if you do that too early, you don't know where the cable's going. You kind of have to guess. Yeah, I just don't like it. I've been sitting here for an hour going through trying to shield the cable, but not fully shield it, but because I don't want to shield it later, I want to do it now so I could just install everything. It's a very messed up kit. So I'm not really going to film installing it. I'm just going to go ahead and show you everything done, because as per usual, everything is just a fucking headache with my vehicles. I have a very lengthy process with the rest of the wiring and everything, so it's going to be hit or miss whether I film anything or not.
3 days later.
It holds, it's fine. I drove the car all week, actually 2 days. Ran fine, never had any issues. I really didn't notice the difference too much, but now the alternator. So I was wrong. I hope I was wrong and someone didn't just give me a different one. I think you do need the one with that little lip thing. I don't think this interferes with anything. I haven't really looked into this. Someone else gave me this part number. He sent me an exact link of what I needed. So with a little bit of voodoo and witchcraft. All right, so here we go. Everything is in, everything's buttoned away, buttoned up. All the battery cables are on, everything's tight. I probably will lop this off because as you can see, the coil wire gets in the way. Now, if you're OEM, you probably won't have an issue. I can't say for certain because you have the long strip of coil plugs. I have the K suspension upgrade. Onward though, I have more electrical we have to do. I'm gonna mess around with it, and then I'll come back to you guys when I kind of have a game plan of how everything's gonna be. I want a little bit more so I can expand. Okay, so I think I know how I want to run it. There's a plate on there, so all this is gonna be hidden anyway. I tried making it so it extended out, problem is all this stuff comes out so far that I won't be able to hide it. For now, I'll update you guys once I come back and I have everything squared away on how I want to mount it, if I'm even going to use this one or I'm going to use the square block, fuse block, which I could probably get by tomorrow. And then I'm going to have the power wire come out to the fuse block, and then the same thing with the ground. Okay, these are actually very easy to wire up. The most difficult part is going to be the winch accessory, and that's because I have to tap into the actual winch and I have to tie all the wires together. Thankfully, it's just going to be 2 wire leads going there. So basically the pins, I'll show you in a second, they're just going to jumper to each other, and then it's going to go to your accessory out, basically your winch in and your winch out. And I'm tapping off the solenoid that's in the actual winch box itself. So let me show you guys what I have with the switches, and then I'll kind of go over where the pins go. So these 2 are going to be for the USB right here. Ground power, same, you know, it's whatever, they could just be shared off of it. This one has an on-off switch, so that's why this is just going to run to all the powers. Because I don't have to worry about this constantly being on. The one that's going to be in the back of the Jeep, I'm pointing, this one right here doesn't have an on-off switch, so I'm probably just going to drill a hole and run a switch right here. But overall, pretty easy to install. I'm going to call it quits for tonight. It's like 11:30 at night. I still got to shower. I got to get ready for tomorrow. So I'm going to call it quits, and I will pick this back up tomorrow, and I will kind of show you guys what I'm going to be working with, and we'll start running all the wire to the front of the Jeep, and hopefully we can get everything squared away, at least with the winch. All right, so it is actually a couple days later. I did get a lot done. I wasn't filming because it was dark out, so the camera wasn't really picking anything up in the trunk when I was actually running wires and doing stuff like that. So I didn't have much lighting to work with, so I just kind of just ran with it. And I did have to button up a lot of the stuff because I had a longer trip. It was like I don't know, it was about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive. I went up into the mountains. Unfortunately in California, it's like 4 hours away half the time, so it was a very long drive. I didn't get home until like 5 in the morning, so I was trying to get everything kind of buttoned up, but I will show you guys what I got done so far. I have all the wire kind of ran and coiled up. I do need to run a power wire, which I will go through with that with you guys, which I'm just probably just gonna go straight to the battery. Okay, so I did tap into the solenoid here. Thankfully it's only 2 wires that you really have to run in. You don't have to run any power to it. Your power switch is literally just going to power the other winch switch, and then once you hit that, it'll send power through here. I still have access or control to this because I just ran a jumper off of the actual plugs. I don't know which one is which, if it's up or down. Goes down up through next to the power steering box, comes up over here along this whole line, and then you're not really going to be able to see it, but there's a little grommet down there that I cut a hole in from the inside. It runs along here, it runs up underneath over to the grommet up top there. It runs right up through here, and then it's right behind here, just coiled up. Same thing goes for the wires for the switch power and the accessory power, so the white and yellow. That actually runs up underneath all the paneling underneath here, zip tied, and then I have it coiled up. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it because I don't feel like walking over there, but it is coiled up right there. So like I said, all that stuff is coiled up. Unfortunately I gotta leave it. Those accessory and power wires, the accessory wires I can run. I do have the yellow wires, are the ones that are coiled up on the footwell there. The white wires, they run up to behind the switch panel, because those are actually your switch power. So the yellow wires are going to your accessory and the white wires are going to your switch power. So I can actually run those to the switches and be fine. The problem is it's not going to power anything. I'm still waiting for the brackets. It was from a company in SoCal, but I guess they outsourced their stuff, so it's taking forever through customs. It's coming from Mexico. I wasn't aware of that. I thought the guy, he was in America. I thought he made them in America. If I would have known that, I would have just ran with the ZJ ones that I have and tried to make them work. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure where I left off because, well, I don't know. Anyway, got all this kind of wired up. So what I'm doing with this differently is I'm running these little spade terminal connectors, and what my theory is that if I ever want to pull this out and add more, I can do so. And this wire I know is going to the instrument cluster lights, so when you turn the lights on, it sends power through here and it'll light all the switches up. This is the only one that doesn't really require you to pin out over here, but I have all that done, and they basically run to here. This will plug into here, and then it'll go into an illumination light, which I already know which one I'm going to be tapping into. This is going to the battery. Unfortunately I don't have much cable of this left. I know I could have just went out and bought some, but I have this number 12. It should be fine. And then obviously this will be the ground, and then the rest of these are just the accessory lights, which I can plug the accessory lights in. They're just not going to do anything. And then I can finally button this up. I may change the design just a little slightly. I may run a butt splice in there instead of the terminal block, which I'll show you. But I should be able to get all of this wired up for now. Again, I'm still waiting on the brackets for the light bar that's sitting over here and the pod lights that are sitting in there. Still waiting on that so I can run all of this stuff right here, these two right here. Same thing with the compressor. All the accessory wiring I may just keep coiled up. The compressor wire isn't wired in. I should wire the wires, but I don't know where I'm going to put the compressor. I don't know if I'm putting it in the back, or I'm going to have, maybe I'll ask my friend to make me a plate and I'll mount it under the engine bay. So I don't know yet. So the compressor will just kind of just be in limbo for now. The main things I want to get are these three. Because, well, I count these as one, but get these wired up so I can at least use them, because you know, we are getting closer to earlier nights, so I want to make sure I get these all done, because I will do some night wheeling, especially in the snow. The spotlights, the amber spotlights, are going to be way better than a light bar. So I just got done working out. Like I said, I don't know where this video actually left off, so I'm going to open up the garage. We're going to get going, and I do have some stuff for the EVO that just came in, so that's going to be another video. All right, so it's actually a little bit later. I did run out of daylight. I did have lights and everything, but I really couldn't see what I was doing in some of the crevices. I think the last piece of the puzzle really is to connect the main power feed. I did get a fuse or a circuit breaker for it, which I'm not a fan of the circuit breaker where it's at, but it changes down the road because I want to change this whole setup, to be honest with you. I like it, don't like it, things I could improve on, but it's a learning thing. Okay, so this power wire feeds all the switches. This is going to go straight to here. Anyway, I'm not going to go into details on electrical stuff. It's annoying. But I did pick up this breaker. This is a 100 amp breaker. I probably could have gone a little bit bigger to like a 125. I might do that later on down the road. I'm actually going to mount this right here. I'm not really going to go crazy with it. I'll probably just run a nut and bolt through it, a short one that just makes it up over this. And then I'm going to be drilling a hole, if the camera picks it up yet. We're drilling a hole right here, running a grommet, and the power wire unfortunately is going to run through. It's going to come up through this hole and go right up behind here. I don't like that, but that's the only way I can run it. I could have ran it through down here and then across, but the battery's on this side. I don't want to run it across because this main power wire for the switches, as you can see, it comes right up over here near the radiator. I don't really like this, but there was nowhere to secure it up here without it coming across and having to put it right here along this little area. So here's the power wire. It's all coiled up. I have this braiding on it. I'm probably gonna have to take this braiding off because I do have to cut, because I'm an idiot and forgot that I had to run a fuse in line with it. But here's everything else wired up. I pulled the fuses out. This one I'm going to keep in because this is going to power this right here. So I'll run into an on-off switch. So basically, boom, pop it on, sends power to here, good to go. Turn it off, turns this off. The one that I'm running inside my little switch panel there, that has an on-off switch. I'm still going to fuse it. You still want to fuse it. You don't want to leave it unfused. Have the ground straight to chassis. I did order more of this cable because if the chassis ground isn't good enough, I'm gonna have to run this wire all the way up to the front. This comes back and it goes along here, goes down this channel here, as you see, attaches right there. It's gonna run along here, up, up, up. It's gonna come through again through the firewall right here. I have some corrugated conduit, whatever you want to call it, whatever that stuff is. It's going to run through here, boom, up. It's going to come out of this little hole right here. Like I said, I'm going to drill about a I don't know, I'd have to say like a 5/8 inch hole, boom, right there, pop it through, and it's going to run along here over to here, and then from here straight to the battery. So I'm really not going to film me installing the wire. Again, it's very, very hot out, so I don't want to be moving the camera around. I just want to focus on getting everything wired up, fuse everything I have to fuse, get everything squared away, and cross my fingers that I don't burn this Jeep up. I'll probably pull it into the street, so if it does burn up, it's just the Jeep that burns up. Oh man, shouldn't be thinking like that. Anyway, I'm going to get cracking. I'm going to go ahead and cut the wire up and feed it through where I have to feed it through, drill my holes, do what I have to do, and I'll come back to you guys once I have everything kind of squared away. So everything is done, wired up. This is 12 volt for the switches. This is 12 volt for the winch. This is the ground for the winch. I have my little plug over here that is working. Let me run the switches inside and see if they go in and out. I'm hoping at least they somewhat work. Alright, so I'm pretty stoked on that. First try, all the stuff works. I didn't really want to run a winch too much because you can feel the battery. Well, you really can't feel it. You saw all the lights literally almost turned off inside the truck, the Jeep. So definitely going to upgrade the battery very, very, very soon. Controls work. I don't know why the actual handheld controls don't work yet. We'll save it for another day. I'm not going to bother messing around with that. Unfortunately, I can't do any tests on anything else. The only thing I can do a test on is the switch in the back for the USB. So there's a fuse for this one, and it'll turn on. As you see, 12/7, and you turn it off. All the switches work. As you can see, they all light up. Another test you want to do. Okay, this doesn't work. That's good. So once you hit this, boom, now this switch works. Come back here. Oh, as you see, I don't have any of the fuses in here right now. It's going to be, I think, light bar, pod lights, compressor. And this is the other one that, as you can see, it doesn't have an on-off switch. So, I'll close that up. Hit the switch, boom. There's a 12.7, and your charge is good. Turn it off, kills the power to it. So that is that with that. That is that with that. Anyway, we are done with that. The actual handheld little device thingy-mabob, I will mess with that another day. I'm not too worried about it. For now, the radio, everything, all the electronics and electric accessories are all wired in. I'm still waiting for my damn LED bracket. I may just use the ZJ ones and drill the holes in there. I don't know. We'll see. I'll figure that out, and I'll just show you guys if I do get everything in, and I'll just show you in another video. I won't actually go through the process of installing it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, you know, I suck at picking up the camera, but stay tuned for more. I do have some more stuff, recovery gears coming in for the Jeep. Anyway, getting ahead of myself, getting way off topic. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more, like I said. As always, stay hungry, stay humble. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.
I swear to God, man, I'ma make it soon. Silence all the haters as they see us making moves. I do what I want, so I got nothing to prove. Staying motivated